I would sit here and argue that the reason there's so many women acting in this way is because nobody's telling them not to, and the men who used to tell them not to don't. I live in Romania. If I go on a date with a 26 or 27-year-old girl, she has to be home at 10 because her dad said so at 27. You don't see that in the West. It's just a different society. So I'm saying that we can talk now about bathroom situation. We can talk now about women running around being crazy. We can talk now even about men being crazy to a degree. As you destroy the masculinity, as you destroy the protectors of society, everything degrades.
You gotta be on your grind. If you on your grind, bro, the women gonna come. That's all you need to know. If you on your grind, the women is gonna come. That's why, bro, you shouldn't be worrying about how to get women. Nigga, you should be worrying about how can you get on your grind. What's your next career path? Oh, how you gonna feed your family? That's what you need to be worrying about. Once you get on your grind, bro, once you focus on yourself, get on your grind, oh, the women just gonna start coming.
The reason why women love a man on his grind is because she feels safe and she feels secure when she sees that you're going places. If you think that you don't have to get on your grind and you shouldn't have to do a damn thing and you should still just be able to get and attract whoever you want, you have to understand how backwards this is, because on a biological level, a woman wants a guy who can protect and provide for her potential future offspring, especially if you guys are going to be intimate and especially if you're into this woman intimately. That's why when you are on your grind and she sees that you are not necessarily just willing to give your attention away to these frivolous things that keep you distracted, you have to understand just how attractive that is. She knows he's going somewhere. The second that you actually get on your grind and you do these things, you are going to have the type of desire that you've always wanted out of women. The truth, though, is most guys don't want to put in the work.
There is a lot of degeneracy in the globe. Social media platforms like Tinder, TikTok, and others are nothing more than tools for intimacy. They have lost sight of their fundamental ideals and qualities due to the usage of cell phones, adult content, and meat beating. I'd like to ask you a query. Do you believe that a lion is happiest in most content when it impersonates and acts like a sheep, or when it lives on its own? True. Your personality and behaviors are the same. When you accept your actual manhood and the reason and calling you were meant for, life gets much better. I frequently consider the young generation that is developing and absorbing media via pixels on a screen. Men from older generations are also getting dependent on rapid gratification, not just those from the younger age. It almost seems as though they are pressuring you to depend on these. Consider your education, remote employment, or internships. Of course, there is nothing wrong with them all going digital, but it only makes things that much simpler to obtain. Never go somewhere only by pressing a button. In spite of the fact that digital media is the most effective form of production and consumption ever invented by mankind, it has arguably more drawbacks than advantages, particularly if you are just beginning your journey toward personal development as a man and the meager benefits that social media offers. The cruel part is that it throws back 3 times as much degen in your direction. You need to be cautious of more than just social media in order to embrace your masculinity fully. There are so many additional traps for guys to fall into in the modern world. Let's look at 10 of those D's that you really must stay away from if you want to reclaim your masculinity. First, do not look to women for approval. It applies to anybody and everything, not just women. Everyone looks to someone for affirmation. But because men are the intercourse gatekeepers, they tend to do it more with women. Men have an innate need to find love. You are biologically programmed to procreate in order to ensure the survival of your race. However, this dependence could manifest in your relationship as neediness. Most males understand this. They believe that treating their ladies like total garbage will help them avoid appearing needy. The opposite is true and could not be more so. A high-value man constantly shows respect and receives it, but there is a thin line between doing so in the appropriate degree and going too far. People attempt to hold on to a person who fills a gap left in their lives by another person, which is entirely incorrect, and they do so by flooding her with all these different things while receiving nothing in return, because they seek the same level of affirmation after a breakup. They have to be given. Instead, regardless of whether you've recently broken up or are still dating, work on developing a level of self-satisfaction within yourself that prevents you from needing any kind of outside approval. This entails having faith in your own judgment and being willing to stand up for it in the face of 99 other people, even if you are the only one in the room who disagrees. Second, seek out relationships with other males that are manly. You become reliant on women for validation and praise in part because your male pals aren't providing you with these things. We have a natural sense of brotherhood instilled in us as males. We begin to develop deep bonds with our male friends when we spend time with them frequently. One of the best ways to get rid of any potential female-related dependencies is to do this. There are several ways for males to develop their relationships with women, such as through engaging in activities traditionally associated with men rather than teasing and making fun of them. Instead of sitting around and talking, enter competitions, establish teams, and compete against other men. Make a move. Your brotherhood becomes greater through deeds committed within moral bounds. These later become memories that you keep with you throughout the rest of your life. Take up a manly hobby as number 3. If you wish to develop your masculinity, you merely need to accept your manhood, and that is a really straightforward thing to accomplish. There is no better way to do this than through engaging in stereotypically masculine activities like weightlifting, playing competitive sports, studying a martial art, or going on a hike in a far-off place. These items can help you learn to work as a team. These hobbies will also help you reconnect with your genuine self. Like nothing else, independence and manliness. Fourth, look after your body. There is a proverb that reads as follows: "It is shameful for a man to age without appreciating the beauty and power of his body, and maintaining a strong body is, in fact, a crucial aspect of being a man." Weightlifting will increase physical strength, which will then translate into mental toughness and strength. Never neglect this significant male obligation. Start by consuming wholesome foods, getting enough rest, and engaging in regular exercise. This will energize you and enable you to approach your activities with clarity. Naturally, don't forget about the sun. The sun can be compared to a battery charger. Your hormones, including your testosterone, needed to be charged up to the appropriate level. Fifth, understand that both men and women are not equivalent in any way. Earning money to support your family is your obligation. Women, on the other hand, enjoy being housewives the most. This issue has likewise long since been resolved scientifically. It's time to stop pretending that gender disparities don't exist and start incorporating them into our plans. Sixth, educate your guys on the values of manhood by learning them yourself. A man's qualities include toughness, assertiveness, fortitude, and strength. In contrast, women are endowed with additional virtues like love, kindness, compassion, and empathy. Men can still be kind and caring, but they frequently rely more on their masculine traits, especially in dire circumstances. The media refers to these qualities as toxic masculinity, but consider any heroic film you have ever seen. The movie's protagonist, who is a defender and a provider, embodies all the qualities and characteristics of men that we have spoken about. Don't forget to share this important knowledge with your nephew's sons, brothers, and so forth. Many men struggle to learn how to be men on their own as they go through life. Take it as a blessing that you have the knowledge and provide it to those who need it. Seventh, become more aware of gender roles and obligations as time goes by. Gender roles are disappearing, but not all trends that are emerging are healthy. You can find innumerable instances of actions that individuals believe to be morally correct throughout history, but as of now, we consider them. The same is true of the things that society currently accepts as true, but which, according to the standards of the Most High, are false. In a moment where life or death is at stake, individuals who reject that each gender has distinct roles and obligations will find themselves resuming their positions and responsibilities. Serving the young men in your communities comes in at number 8. The rate of couples splitting is rising daily, a topic we briefly touched on earlier, but it merits further attention. Alarmingly, many young men are growing up without father figures. These guys won't learn how to harness their masculinity if there is no male influence in their households. Never forget that living a moral life is our mission in life. I'm done now. One of the greatest acts of morality is nothing more, nothing less, It is imperative to stand up and support young guys, whether through mentoring initiatives, classroom instruction, or one-on-one conversations. Other ways to assist them abound. Never identify a need without filling it. As the saying goes, family planning is item number 9. Only after you are physically, financially, mentally, and generally ready to do so should you consider having children. Many men frequently start families without giving it any thought. For many years, people have been debating this subject. Some people will tell you that if you wait until you are ready, you'll never have children. The best method to trap yourself is in this situation. You ought to be old enough to raise children. This does not imply that you must have all the answers, but you should be prepared to handle the obligations that come with it. It is advisable for you and your partner to postpone having children if your body, mind, and finances cannot handle it. You will find it simple to win your wife's and children's love once you have put these measures in place. Set moral and ethical guidelines is the 10th and final point. There are repercussions for us, so you must uphold the greatest moral and ethical standards for both you and your sons. Rest certain if you do not adhere to such penalties and model them for your sons. Numerous issues will affect you, including crime, violence, maltreatment of women, and poor academic performance. So keep in mind that you are a protector, a provider, and a leader, brothers. You develop these values by continuous application, learning, and practice. Never avoid giving a reaction. Do not avoid taking on leadership roles or ignore your duties. Men run toward difficult situations because they are what define you as a man, whereas boys run away from them. Dodge taking on responsibilities, and you avoid masculinity entirely, as we frequently say on this channel.